I just spent a nice long day out here at the primary edible acres, the 6 acre spot just north of Teaberg. And I realized I haven't made a video in quite a while. Just been running around trying to get caught up with all the spring work, finishing up final sales and all that, and getting all of our seeds going. It's been a tremendous amount of work, and lovely and also daunting. But just about ready to leave from here to head back home to Sasha, and I thought I would take a little while and wander around with folks and show you what's going on in the early spring up here at the first nursery. Some of the fun things I get to experience having started this space now over 10 years ago, this is the 12th growing season, is there are some examples of trees that I've put in the ground back in 2009 that are just really becoming serious trees. This is a Siberian hardy apricot, a zone 3 hardy apricot that I have one and another one right over there. Yep, there we go. And they've been making fruit now for a couple years. It's pretty beautiful to see the flowers early in the spring. A little fragile whether or not they fruit successfully each year because they flower awfully early. They're beautiful trees, haggard, thorny, really self-sufficient, drought-tolerant trees. But they flower pretty early. But what's interesting is to see, this is good for me to see as a note, is there are flowers at all these different stages. Hopefully the camera will focus there. Some have flowered. Those probably got burnt. We've got down into the mid-20s not too long ago. But here's some flowers that haven't popped yet. And by having a few of these as seedlings, there's a good chance that as long as their timing is a little funky, that they're not completely uniform, which I think you get when you have seedling plants. It's a little less predictable, uniform, known. There's a better chance of actually getting some fruit. And since I'm letting them get a bit on the tall side, there might be some little microclimates at play here where there's cooler spots or less sunny spots. Hopefully we get some really good fruit on them this year. I saw a picture of these, this type of apricot in northern Idaho. I guess they can get 50 to 60 feet tall. It's like a timber apricot. Yikes. A real true winner for the early spring in a cold climate is the Nanking cherry, Prunus tomentosa. And here they've just loaded, dripping with flowers. And from what I understand of it, most, if not all, stages of the flower of this amazingly hardy shrub are hardy down to something like 14 or 19 Fahrenheit. So when we get these springs where things are warming up and plants are waking up and choosing to flower, I pretty much never worry about Nanking cherry. They're going to almost always make fruit, and at a height that I can access. Gotta love plants like that. Our hazels planted back in 2009 are really becoming some seriously large shrubs. In fact, you see the base of it, it's about almost 2-foot diameter down there. One of these years soon, I'm going to need to go through and actually coppice these and renew them. But so far, they're growing beautifully. And they actually just finished a little ways ago. They had their male catkins and then the little tiny neon punk rock pink fuchsia lady parts popped out. They pollinated and all the male catkins dropped, so hopefully they'll make a great nut this year. I've got a whole bunch of different hazels all through here. They make amazing crops each year, and the squirrels manage to get nearly 100%. I'm going to just keep planting hazelnuts at a frantic pace until there's just too many in the landscape for the squirrels to keep up with. That'll work, right? Just to the north of our garage here, it's just so utterly complex in this part of the landscape, but very productive. And what I'm noticing is, I made a video a ways back talking about how squirrels have been co-designing the space and planting bitternut hickory and some other juglans right around the base of a lot of these pines. And I'm seeing a lot more larch being hit by pileated woodpecker this year. They're really drilling into them. I suspect this overstory of pine is not long for this world, and it's working out beautifully because I've underplanted a lot of this to wild plums and autumn olives and currants and all sorts of hazelnuts and persimmons. And so it's not as though I like to see trees die, but I certainly like to see succession at play. So I'm excited to see how things pan out. I suspect in a few years, most of these will be dead standing and will be just amazing habitat for birds and wild pollinators and the like. This spruce, which was dying a ways back and my friend helped cut the top off of, is just about a veritable urban center of activity. You can see all the holes. Pileated have been working on it extensively. They're making sawdust all around it, promoting fungal life around. Now the little birds and the bees will start occupying those spaces that have been punched through. It's pretty stunning to see that in death, trees provide such structure and housing and opportunity and shelter for so many other beings. It's just beautiful. Everything's alive even when it's dead somehow. Most of the air prune boxes here have been filled, almost entirely in this case with chestnuts and hazels. Our winter storage, they sprouted very, very early, and so it was a little bit of a panic to try to get them out here. And luckily when Sasha and I did most of the planting and got the caps on, we had a few bales of old hay that I flaked in really thick ways all around these, and I think that's going to help them be pretty adaptable to whatever weird temperature fluctuations we have. Once we get into mid-May and there's no more threat of really deep freezing, we can take the caps off temporarily, pull the hay so the soil can warm up, and watch them really grow and get the caps back on. Maybe about 1,000 trees in here. Soon enough, I'll be making an update video. I think I've come up with another system for air prune beds that I'm using at our half-acre site. I look forward to sharing with folks about that. It's crazy to see Fuki and garlic mustard duking it out for who can be the most intensely green early in the spring. You can see the Fuki, the flowers are almost wrapping up. It's such an early plant that before dandelions even really start flowering in any real way, Fuki flowers are almost done. And pretty definitive this year, I'm learning these flowers are just really attractive to whatever flies wake up early in the season, and they smell a little like wintergreen. This Fuki is so potent vegetatively that each year we dig from here very aggressively, very thoroughly in order to dig up plants to ship to folks or to sell or to trade or what have you. And every year it feels like not only did we not dig any out, but that somehow we expanded them. It's like an elephant ear leaf with a mint runner. Does that make any sense? Little mini air prune boxes that have had seed that needed cold stratification are all lined up to grow. Hopefully they don't get too zapped by the cold. I think it'll harden them off. These are Nanking cherries that we collected last summer, and I just sowed directly into these boxes in really high density, put rodent screen on them, and stored them in our root cellar for the winter. And they woke up quite a ways ago. You can see there are a few too many in there, maybe 200-300. Maybe I'll go through, if I make time this season, and tease them apart and transplant them into other beds. Maybe they'll just grow way too close for this season and then get spaced out next year. A lot of these are high value, unique types of nuts that haven't woken up yet, but some other really fun ones that are just beginning to do their thing. I collected some quince seed from a friend of mine and mashed up the fruit and put them in here in the fall. That's a garlic mustard, but that paler one is a quince. So get true to type seedling quince coming up this year. That'll be neat to see. And I just mulched them, but this box has about 600 gumi seeds. Last year, as we were eating gumi, we saved the pits. I wanted to chew them up so bad. They're so delicious, but I resisted. Planted them all out in here and put rodent protection on, and they're coming up like mad. So gumi, pretty amenable to saving seed and keeping it fresh and moist, sewing it into an air prune box, keeping that protected for the winter. And oh my gosh, if we get a few hundred gumi, I will just do a backflip and hurt myself. There's so much going on, it's hard to know where to focus my attention or yours. So maybe I'll just wrap things up here by saying I hope you all are out in garden spaces as much as possible, or making connections with folks with land to work in. I find on days like this where I'm just planting trees as fast as possible and out digging and moving and working with plants and seeing what they're up to, I forget about all the problems or the complexities of the moments we're in. It feels like nature's just moving along at a sturdy clip this spring. It's been cool, it's been wet, but things are definitely waking up. Flowers are popping. The beings are on their way towards another growing season, and I'm so excited to be part of that with them. Maybe folks can let me know if there's interest in some real long-form detailed, deep dive discussions about this 12-year-old food forest and how it's evolved, what the plants are doing, that kind of thing, I'm open to it for sure. I just don't want to drag people through long videos. I guess you could always click away, but if there's interest, let me know. And then specifically, what sort of topics and areas of how we've designed this or what's going on are you most interested in or would like to know about? You have questions about what we're doing out here? I know I do. Let me know, and maybe we'll make some long videos. Otherwise, I'm going to hope to pick up the pace again with making videos, going into some of the details and experiments we're doing this spring. Lots of them, lots of irons in the fire. Thanks for watching. Take care. Goodbye.